Um, Kai, so let me ask you this: Are you a Philly fighter?
No,
You don't put yourself in that bracket.
I'm from Delaware. I'm
Yeah,
not a
yeah.
Philly fighter. I'm not a Philly fighter.
Do you have favorite Philly fighters? Are there ones, as Brad had you go down that route of studying Boogaloo Watts and Cyclone Hart and Benny Briscoe and all
Oh, well, I'm a historian myself, so I love boxing. I love the history of boxing. Um, my coach is a historian of boxing. He sends me all types of different fights for me to watch. I like watching the old fights. And I like watching the new fights as well. So I have a I have a vast understanding of the Philly boxing scene and things, the history. And since I train in Philadelphia, I see a lot of the history. I know a lot of the guys, so it's cool to see.
Yeah, yeah. Is it something that you have like a particular reverence for, like the Philly heritage?
Oh man, I love the atmosphere. I love the way that we spar. I love the way that we work. I love the way, you know, that we do things. I won't consider myself a Philly fighter. Come from Delaware. I'm like adopted.
Well, like,
When I fought in the amateurs, I was from Delaware, and I fought on a Philly team because Delaware didn't have a team. So I was on the Philadelphia boxing team because I'll beat everybody from Philly. So I'm like Philly adjacent.
and so Dwight Mohammed Cowie, right? Dwight Braxton, he was from Camden, the Camden Buzzsaw,
Mhm.
and he used to take the train to Philadelphia. So kind of in
Yeah, I
some
was right there.
Yeah, in some ways, people were saying he was a Philly fighter back in the day, but he was kind of like you, kind of adopted, right? Sorry, I just lost you. I got you back.
Yeah, he was like adopted. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So, and on Bread, by the way, tell me about Bread and Stephen Edwards and what he's
Yeah.
done for you as a fighter and how he's brought you on.
I mean, like our history, like how we got together.
Yeah, sure, sure, sure.
I mean, Julian Williams.
Yeah, sure.
Um, can you hear me?
Yeah, I've got you.
Okay, good. Okay. Yeah, so coming up in amateurs, Julian Williams is a little older than me. And we knew each other because I was a little younger, but I used to watch him fight in the open class, and I was still a JO. And when I was about to turn professional, I was winning a bunch of nationals and winning stuff. I wanted to get some pro experience, so I went up to spar with Julian, and Julian was already working with Brad. And before I turned professional, me and Brad decided that we should work together.
And what was your impression of
So
Brett?
I mean,
Did he come across as a knowledgeable guy at the start?
um, very vocal, very understood, not just boxing, but how boxing relates to life. And I think that resonates with me. So, um, from learning different things and being more technical and um, being more efficient, it definitely impressed me with how he did things, the way he trains. So, uh, yeah, I was really impressed by all that, and I think that's what made me decide, like, hey, I think this guy will be good for my future, be good for my career.
So, and then just going to the last fight with Elijah Garcia, which was closer on the scorecards than it should have been. Obviously, you guys got the game plan down pat for that fight. Um, how pleased were you with how things shook out with the Elijah Garcia fight?
Yeah, once we got in the ring, I mean, I'm super pleased with how it went. Obviously, I was able to do what I wanted to do. I was able to game plan. We actually had a couple game plans. The first game plan was to back him up. Um, and we used the ring, but back him up in spots. You actually the first person I ever told that, but that was the initial game plan. But when I started to see how easy it was to line him up, I looked at Brett, and we have like a way we talk without talking. And I started landing that little dot right hand shot that we work on the bag. And he's like, if that's not broke, work it. So I was just angling off, throwing the right hand, step in, using my defense and using my reach advantage. Even though he was a little taller than me, I had a reach advantage on him. And I started noticing that he didn't understand distance. So those are just the adjustments that I was making as the fight was going on. And once I got his timing down, the right hand wasn't it wasn't missing. So I mean, we took that all the way to the bank.
And tell me, were you worried about the judges, and did that leave a bitter taste afterwards?
Um, Me as a boxer, and me always coming in on that side, it's not something that you can kind of worry about. It's going to be what's going to be. You already have so much pressure from just wanting to do your best all the time. I'm always You can't think about the judges. You got to think about the job that's in front of you, and then at the end, you know, we'll see what happens. But I have no control. You can't control it, then why worry?
Well, Brett doesn't have control over the judges, but he was pissed.
Well, Brad's not the fighter. Brad has his job is different than mine. Um, what he does is different. I don't try to be him. He don't try to be me.
Has it been frustrating after what I suppose you'd have to call a career best win? Has it been frustrating to not see action for another year?
A little bit, but it is what it is.
And now you've not exactly got a gimme to come back with, right? You've got a tough unbeaten Cuban.
I didn't want to get me though. So we could have got a gimme. We could have got something easy. Just to keep myself active. I wanted to fight that was going to push me closer to where I was going.
How highly do you rate the champs in the division? You know, your Adames, your Laras, your Janibeks, all those guys.
How do I rate them? I mean, they're the champions. I mean, they're champions for a reason. I don't rate them low. I think everybody at this level is really good. Um, I I want to get in the ring with them. So
Who do you think's the best of the pack?
sorry to styles make fights. Uh, so the best it can go in and out. I think that Laura's getting a little bit on the older side and smaller than all of the rest of them. I think Adamas um, has more defensive flaws um, than probably Laura. I think Janibek probably the most best well-rounded, but he gets lazy. I think that it's different things you can do to all of them. Um, I would like to fight all of them.
You know, the 160-pound division's been getting some, it's been coming under fire, right? People saying there's no stars in it and that kind of stuff. And then I have spoken to some of your contemporaries over here, like your Denzel Bentleys and other fighters, and they're like, no, we're all good fighters. We just don't have big names yet. Like, what's your take on do you think it's unfair that the people are saying middleweight is a quiet division right now?
It's a little quiet. The champions seem like they don't want to fight, so I think that makes it a little bit more quiet. I think that Laura fought like once and fought Danny Garcia, who was in the middleweight, and that was kind of a like a weird looking fight. And then you got Janibek, he's fighting guys that and he's not sure if he wants to go to 168 or stay at 160, so he's kind of like playing with the division. Adamas got a good win over Sharice, but he hasn't fought much, so I think it's not. I think activity has something to do with that. Uh, but it always changes, you know. It goes up and down. You get a new star is born, or somebody comes up out of a division and they move up, and you get like some fiery stuff that happens. Boxing is like a flow. It's, you know, sometimes 147 division's hot. It's sometimes 154. It's 154 is hot right now. 168 was super hot. Now it looks seems like the light heavyweights are doing like increasing with the popularity. Um, I remember from that long stretch of heavyweight fights that were just terrible. Now then we got a really good few years. So
Yeah.
it happens. It's boxing.
By the way, I saw you had an early 8 round defeat in your career. Was that one of those fights that could have gone 50-50, or was it a good learning fight where you made some mistakes and learned a lot from?
I made some definitely made some mistakes in the fight. I thought that I won the fight. Uh, my coach thought I won the fight, but it was a learning experience. I was a lot younger. Um, and there was some weird stuff going on behind the scenes that with experience I would have been able to like see. and change and give myself a better advantage. But I mean, it's a learning experience. You don't I don't even think about that for those fights.
Sure. But when people look at your record, they want context. So I think it's interesting to find out what your take is. And just let me ask you this. So I know you're chomping at the bit, but I've got two more questions, right? One is, have you been sparring with Caleb for this, by the way?
No, but we have been like working like side by side. We haven't been sparring.
Okay. And then in terms of the Benavides fight, how come you had that spell of inactivity after that? What was going on there?
I don't really have a answer. I was in the gym.
You were in the gym.
Yeah, I mean it's hard to get fights sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, uh, I fought a super middleweight that was like the scariest guy, I guess. Um, and I fought him short term for a short notice, and the way that I performed, I guess, scared some middleweights. It was hard for us to get a fight, lock somebody in. Very high risk, low reward kind of a situation. We wasn't able to really get any of the bigger fights that we wanted, so we had to take some tune-ups, kind of like beat somebody in. But it's frustrating. We got a lot of guys that I get turned down a lot because of the high risk, low reward type of like, yeah, I'll be on fighting. What is that gonna do for us? Or like, it's too much right now. Like we want this. Like, so it's a little frustrating with that, but
Well, there's a
I think I'm starting to get to a place where it's starting to equal out. The fights are starting to mean more, even though I'm a high risk. You beat me because of my name. Like the fight I'm in now. Like this is a good win for Hernandez if he can get it. You know, he probably wants somebody of like me on his resume. So we're able to get somebody like him in the ring, where he's ranked super high in WBA for whatever reason, and we're able to like um get the fight to happen, and it was an easy fight to make.
Sure. Well, I know there will be a lot of people hoping that you can capitalize on the momentum from the Garcia fight, and I wish you good things for the fight on the 31st, man. Thanks for taking the time to talk
Yeah,
to me.
appreciate you.